On the coldest night of winter, Yuna took a shortcut home. She thought she'd save a few minutes. Instead, she witnessed something she was never meant to see. A pair of cold, piercing eyes met hers in the darkness. And from that moment, her peaceful life began to fall apart. It was one of the coldest nights of winter. A thick blanket of snow had swallowed every corner of the city, transforming the empty streets into a silent, white maze. The icy wind howled through the narrow alleys, carrying nothing but an eerie stillness. After another exhausting day at work, Yuna finally left the office. Holding a black umbrella above her head, she took the shortcut she always used. A narrow alley that led straight to her apartment. She had walked this path countless times before, but tonight, everything felt different. Suddenly, her footsteps came to an abrupt halt. There, against the untouched white snow, were fresh drops of blood, bright crimson, still glistening beneath the streetlights. Yuna's breath caught in her throat. Her heartbeat skipped. She stared at the blood in disbelief.
Blood?
Before she could process what she was looking at, a gunshot shattered the silence. Yuna gasped, flinching so violently that she nearly dropped her umbrella. She spun around. Nothing. The alley was completely deserted. No passing cars, no pedestrians, only the freezing wind, and a silence that suddenly felt much more terrifying than before. Every instinct screamed at her to run, to leave, to pretend she had heard nothing. But curiosity, it was stronger than fear. With shaky breath, Yuna carefully followed the direction of the gunshot. Each step was quieter than the last. Her heartbeat echoed loudly inside her ears. As she reached an abandoned warehouse, she quickly hid behind a crumbling concrete wall. Very carefully, she peeked around the corner, and instantly, the blood drained from her face. Several men dressed entirely in black stood in a circle. Their faces were hidden beneath dark masks. None of them moved. None of them spoke. In the center, a man stood with terrifying composure. A long black overcoat, black leather gloves, a silver pistol resting effortlessly in one hand. His face remained hidden beneath a dark mask. Only his eyes could be seen, sharp, cold, fox-like, predatory. Eyes completely devoid of mercy. Kneeling before him was a middle-aged man, trembling uncontrollably. His hands were folded together as tears streamed down his face.
Please, I can pay you back. Just give me one more chance.
The masked man didn't answer. Not a single word. He simply lifted the pistol. Without hesitation, without emotion, bang! The gunshot echoed through the freezing night. The man's body collapsed lifelessly into the snow. Bright red blood spread across the white ground like spilled paint. Yuna's entire body began trembling. She instantly covered her mouth with both hands to stop herself from screaming. Her breathing became fast and uneven. Her vision blurred. Very slowly, she stepped backward. One careful step, then another. She prayed no one would notice her. But then, crunch. The sound of snow breaking beneath her boot echoed through the alley. The masked man's head turned. Slowly, his piercing eyes searched the darkness until they stopped. For one horrifying moment, their eyes met. Time itself seemed to freeze. Yuna couldn't breathe. Those eyes, they weren't simply cold. They were the kind of eyes that had watched countless people die without feeling a single ounce of regret. Eyes that seemed capable of seeing straight through the darkness. Her heart pounded so violently, she was certain they could hear it. Without thinking another second, she slipped deeper into the shadows and hurried away, barely daring to breathe. Behind her, the masked man remained perfectly still. His gaze lingered in the darkness where she disappeared. One of the men beside him spoke cautiously.
Boss, is something wrong?
The masked man remained silent for a long moment. Then, without another glance,
Nothing.
he lowered the gun. Perhaps he had imagined it, or so he believed. Meanwhile, Yuna didn't stop running until she reached her apartment building. Her chest rose and fell violently as she fumbled for her keys. She unlocked the door, locked it again, checked the lock, then checked it a second time, and then a third. Only then did she finally lean against the door. Her entire body was shaking. Even removing her coat felt impossible. Her trembling fingers refused to obey her. She slowly slid down to the floor, trying to catch her breath. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw them again. Those cold, fox-like eyes staring directly into hers from the darkness. And deep inside, without understanding why, Yuna had the terrifying feeling that this nightmare had only just begun. Yuna wasn't alone. The only family she had left was her 17-year-old younger brother, Jian. 4 years ago, a tragic accident took both of their parents. Since then, Yuna had become everything for him. A sister, a guardian, and the one carrying every responsibility. She worked long hours at a corporate office so Jian could finish school without worrying about money. That night, the moment she stepped inside the apartment, Jian knew something was wrong. Her face was pale. Her hands were still trembling.
Unni, what happened? You look terrified.
Yuna forced a smile and looked away.
Nothing.
She placed her bag on the table before speaking again. Her voice was unusually serious.
From now on, don't stay outside after 7 in the evening.
Ji-Yan frowned.
What? Why all of a sudden?
Yuna avoided his eyes.
Just promise me.
He stared at her.
Did something happen on your way home?
Confused. For a moment, she remained silent. The blood, the gunshot, those terrifying eyes, they flashed through her mind again. Finally, she spoke.
We're moving.
Ji-Yan blinked.
Moving? But why? We just renewed the lease 2 months ago.
Yuna quietly clenched her fists.
Because I've decided.
There was no room for argument. She forced another smile.
It's late. Go to your room. You have school tomorrow.
Ji-Yan wanted to ask more questions, but he knew his sister. When she spoke in that tone, her decision was final. He reluctantly nodded and returned to his room. The apartment fell silent. Yuna remained alone in the living room. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't forget those fox-like eyes. That entire night, sleep never came. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the same gaze. The next morning, she had barely slept for an hour. Dark circles rested beneath her eyes as she got ready for work. She tried convincing herself it was just a coincidence. Forget it. But the memories refused to leave. On her way to work, she had no choice but to pass through the same alley. The blood was gone. The snow had been cleaned, but a small crowd had gathered nearby. People whispered among themselves.
I heard someone was murdered here last night.
They say it was a professional hit.
No CCTV, no witnesses. It's like the killer vanished into thin air.
Yuna lowered her head. Without slowing down, she walked straight past them, as if she'd heard nothing, as if she'd seen nothing. A little later, she arrived at the office. Everything looked perfectly normal. Employees chatted, phones rang, work continued as usual. Almost enough to make last night's nightmare feel unreal. Then, the atmosphere changed. The company's CEO had arrived. Yunja, tall, calm, known throughout the company for his perfectionism and impossible standards. Employees respectfully greeted him as he walked past. A few minutes later, the intercom on Yuna's desk rang.
Miss Yuna, come to my office.
Yes, sir.
Taking a deep breath, she picked up her notebook and entered his office. As his executive assistant, she already knew his schedule. She stood before his desk, trying to remain composed, but her mind was somewhere else. Yunja quietly studied her, the dark circles beneath her eyes, the distracted expression, the way her fingers gripped the notebook. Nothing escaped his notice. Finally, he spoke.
Is something bothering you?
Yuna blinked.
Yes. I mean, no, sir.
She quickly corrected herself.
I just couldn't sleep last night. Too much work, I guess.
Yunja remained silent for a few seconds. His calm gaze never left her face. It almost felt as though he could see through her lie. Finally, he looked back at the documents on his desk.
I see. You can go for now. I'll call you if I need anything.
Yes, sir.
She gave a small bow and quietly left the office. The cabin door closed behind her. Yunja's eyes remained fixed on the closed door, as though he already knew. She wasn't telling him the whole truth. Days passed. 1 day became 3. 3 became 7. Almost a week. Slowly, the memories of that terrifying winter night began to fade. Or at least, that's what Yuna kept telling herself. Life returned to its usual routine. Wake up, go to work, come home exhausted. Repeat. Her boss, Yunja, certainly didn't make life any easier. He was strict, demanding, the kind of CEO who expected perfection from everyone. Still, Yuna endured it all. She had someone waiting for her at home, someone worth every sacrifice. After days of searching, she finally found a small apartment in another neighborhood. It wasn't luxurious, but it was far away from that cursed alley. One evening, while preparing dinner, she looked at Jian.
We're moving this weekend.
Jian looked up from his books.
Already?
Yuna nodded.
The new place is much farther from my school.
That doesn't matter. I'd rather have you travel a little longer than stay somewhere that doesn't feel safe.
Jian sighed.
I heard some seniors talking about that murder last week.
He lowered his voice dramatically.
They said the police still haven't caught the killer.
For a brief moment, Yuna's hand tightened around the spoon, but she quickly forced herself to smile.
People love making stories. Don't believe every rumor you hear.
Jian shrugged.
Maybe.
Yuna gently ruffled his hair.
Besides, our new apartment is much nicer than this one.
That finally made him smile. Friday arrived. For the first time all week, the office felt unusually peaceful. Yunja hadn't come to work. No endless meetings, no impossible deadlines, no last-minute presentations. The entire office seemed able to breathe again. Even Yuna smiled for the first time in days. When work ended, she packed her bag and headed home. She no longer used the narrow alley where the murder had happened. Instead, she chose the longer, busier road. It added 20 minutes to her journey, but it made her feel safer. By the time she reached her apartment, night had already fallen. She unlocked the front door and stepped inside. Silence.
Jian?
No answer. She checked the kitchen. Empty. The living room. Nothing. Then, his bedroom. The bed was untouched. The lights were off. A small crease formed between her brows. Jian was never late without telling her. She quickly pulled out her phone and called him. The phone rang. Once, twice, 3 times. No answer. Her heartbeat quickened. She called again. Still nothing. A cold chill slowly crept down her spine. Jian always answered her calls. Always. She looked at the wall clock. 8:30 p.m. Her hands began to tremble. 1,000 terrible thoughts rushed through her mind. She whispered to herself, almost as if she was praying.
Jian, where are you?
The silence inside the apartment was suddenly broken. Yuna's phone began to vibrate. An unknown number. Her hands trembled as she answered the call.
Hello?
A deep, cold voice came from the other end.
I saw you that night.
Yuna froze. Her blood ran cold. The voice continued.
You witnessed something you were never supposed to see.
Yuna's breathing became uneven. Then came the words that shattered her world.
So now, your little brother will pay the price.
Her knees almost gave way. She grabbed the edge of the table to steady herself.
Who are you? Where's my brother? What did you do to him?
What did you do to him? A soft chuckle echoed through the phone.
He didn't do anything!
A brief silence followed. Then he spoke again.
He hasn't done anything. But you did.
Tears instantly filled Yuna's eyes. This was all because of her. If only she hadn't looked. If only she had walked away. None of this would have happened.
Please. He's innocent. He's all I have left.
She wiped away her tears with trembling fingers.
If you want revenge, take it on me. I'll do anything. I'll leave this city. I'll disappear. Just, please don't hurt my brother.
The man's voice remained cold, emotionless.
1 million.
Yuna froze.
Transfer 1 million. After your brother is released, you will leave this city forever.
Without thinking, she answered.
I'll do it.
A faint laugh came from the other side.
Good. And you're smart enough not to involve the police. If you do, you'll receive your brother's body instead.
Yuna's heart nearly stopped. The man spoke one final time.
I'll call tomorrow. I'll tell you where to send the money.
The line went dead. Yuna slowly lowered the phone. The apartment suddenly felt unbearably empty. 1 million. She didn't even have 1% of that amount. She slowly sank to the floor. Her mind raced. Friends? No. Relatives? None. Banks? There wasn't enough time. Then, one face appeared in her mind. Yunja, her CEO. A man as wealthy as he was intimidating. Would he help? She didn't know. But she had no other choice. Almost 30 minutes later, Yuna stood outside a magnificent mansion. Towering gates, perfectly trimmed gardens, golden lights glowing through enormous windows. It looked less like a home and more like a palace. Taking a shaky breath, she pressed the doorbell. Moments later, an elderly maid opened the door. She looked surprised.
Miss Yuna?
Yuna nodded.
I need to see Mr. Yunji.
Without another question, the maid stepped aside. A few moments later, Yuna entered the spacious living room. Yunja sat on a black leather sofa, calmly reading a stack of documents. He looked up as she entered. His expression barely changed.
What are you doing here at this hour?
Before he could say another word, Yuna fell to her knees. Tears streamed uncontrollably down her face.
Please, please save my brother.
For the first time, a flicker of surprise crossed Yunja's face. He quietly placed the file on the table.
What happened?
Yuna struggled to steady her voice.
He was kidnapped. They're demanding 1 million. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have anyone else.
She lowered her head, almost to the floor.
Please, sir. You're the only person who can help me. I'll repay every single penny, even if it takes me the rest of my life.
Silence filled the room. Yunja simply watched her. His expression revealed nothing. Several long moments passed. Finally, he spoke. His voice remained calm, cold, almost emotionless.
And you expect me to hand over 1 million just because you asked?
Yuna slowly clenched her fists.
I know I have no right to ask, but I have no other choice.
Yunja rose from the sofa. His footsteps echoed across the silent room. He stopped directly in front of her. Looking down into her tear-filled eyes, he spoke quietly.
Nothing in this world comes without a price, Miss Yuna.
His voice was soft, yet every word felt heavier than the last.
So tell me, what are you willing to give me in return?
The room fell silent.
What do you want? I will return each penny to you.
Yunja looked at Yuna without the slightest change in his expression. Then, in a calm voice, he said,
Marry me.
Yuna instinctively nodded.
Yes, I'll do whatever you ask.
She suddenly stopped. Her eyes widened.
What?
She looked at him in disbelief.
What did you just say?
Without the slightest hesitation, Yunja repeated himself.
Marry me.
Yuna slowly took a step back.
Why? Why would someone like you want to marry someone like me? And this isn't the time. My brother's life is in danger. I can't even think straight.
Yunja remained perfectly calm.
If you want the 1 million, you'll marry me. A 6-month contract marriage.
Yuna could only stare at him.
But why me?
Yunja walked toward the large window overlooking the city. His hands slipped into his pockets. After a brief silence, he finally explained.
My father has one condition before transferring the family fortune to me. He wants me to settle down, to get married.
He turned to face her.
I don't need love. I don't need a real relationship. I only need a wife on paper.
His eyes met hers.
You're the safest choice. No unnecessary expectations. No emotional attachment. After 6 months, you'll receive a divorce. You'll be free.
Yuna stood frozen. A contract marriage? With the coldest man she'd ever met? The same CEO who made an entire office nervous with a single glance? Living under the same roof as him for 6 months? It felt less like a marriage and more like a prison sentence. But then, Jiyan's frightened face appeared in her mind. Her little brother, the only family she had left. If she refused, she might lose him forever. She slowly closed her eyes. 6 months. She could survive 6 months. After that, she would take Jiyan and leave the city forever. When she opened her eyes again, the hesitation was gone.
I'll do it.
Yunja quietly watched her.
I'll marry you. But promise me one thing.
Her voice trembled.
Save my brother first.
Yunja gave a single nod.
You have my word.
The next afternoon, Yuna received another call. The kidnapper gave her the location. As promised, the money was delivered. Every passing second felt like an eternity. She could do nothing but pray that they would keep their word. Hours later, just after sunset, a knock echoed through the apartment. Yuna rushed to the door. The moment she opened it, her eyes filled with tears. Standing outside, bruised, exhausted, but alive, was Jiyan.
Unni?
Before he could say another word, Yuna threw her arms around him, holding him as tightly as she could.
You're safe. Thank God. You're safe.
Jiyan hugged her back, still shaken by everything he had been through. He had no idea that his freedom had come at a terrible price. A price Yuna had agreed to pay. A 6-month marriage to a man she barely knew. a man whose heart seemed as cold as winter itself. And neither of them realized that this contract was only the beginning of a far darker story. The next few days passed in a blur. The wedding was simple. No grand celebration, no smiling relatives, no romance, only signatures on a contract, the exchange of rings, and vows neither of them truly meant. To the outside world, they were husband and wife. But behind closed doors, they were nothing more than strangers bound by a 6-month agreement. A week later, snow continued to fall outside the mansion. Yuna stood by the bedroom window, quietly watching the white flakes cover the garden. The bedroom door opened. Yoonja walked in. He loosened his tie, placed his watch on the table, and remained silent. After a moment, Yuna broke the silence.
You never introduced me to your parents.
Without looking up, Yoonja replied.
There was no need. They already know about the marriage. They've seen the photos. The only thing my father cared about was whether I got married. The condition has been fulfilled.
He calmly unbuttoned the cuffs of his shirt. He looked at her briefly.
The family fortune has already been transferred.
Yuna lowered her eyes.
I see.
Silence filled the room once again. Then, Yoonja spoke.
I'm sending Jian overseas.
Yuna looked at him in surprise.
What?
He'll continue his higher studies abroad. After what happened, staying here isn't safe for him.
Yuna quickly shook her head.
You've already done enough. You paid the ransom. I can't keep taking things from you.
Yoonja quietly walked toward her. One step, then another, until she found herself backed against the wardrobe. Before she could react, he placed one hand against the wooden door beside her, trapping her between himself and the wardrobe. Yuna's heartbeat instantly quickened, slowly. He lifted his other hand. His fingertips gently brushed against her cheek. A shiver ran through her body. He leaned just close enough for her to feel his warm breath.
Yuna, you still don't understand.
His voice remained calm, almost gentle.
Because of you, I'm now the legal heir to billions. A decision like sending your brother abroad.
He looked directly into her eyes. He gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear.
Is nothing to me.
Yuna forgot how to breathe. She nervously looked away.
But we're only in a contract marriage. We shouldn't be this close.
For the first time, a faint smile appeared on Yunya's lips, barely noticeable.
Was that written anywhere in the contract?
Yuna searched for an answer, but none came.
Sir?
He interrupted her immediately.
No, don't call me sir at home.
His tone remained calm, yet firm.
Call me Yoon.
A brief silence followed. Then he said,
And Jian leaves next week.
He stepped back. The distance between them returned, as though nothing had happened. Without waiting for her reply, he turned and walked out of the room. The door clicked shut. Yuna remained exactly where she was. Her heart still refused to slow down, almost unconsciously. She touched her cheek, the place where his fingers had brushed against her skin. She couldn't understand him. At the office, he was cold enough to intimidate an entire room. At home, he was calm, unpredictable, and somehow far more dangerous. This marriage was supposed to be nothing more than a business agreement. So why? Was he slowly crossing every boundary they had agreed upon? The answer was waiting behind a secret she had yet to discover. Days slipped by. Yunja left the country on a business trip. Jian had already flown overseas to begin his studies. For the first time in months, Yuna was completely alone. The mansion felt colder than ever. Its endless hallways echoed with silence. Every corner seemed to be hiding a secret. One afternoon, unable to bear the loneliness, she wandered through the mansion. As she reached the third floor, one particular door caught her attention. It was always locked. Always. But today, the lock was gone. Curiosity got the better of her. She slowly reached for the handle. The door creaked open. Just then,
Mrs. Min,
Yuna flinched.
please don't enter.
A maid hurried toward her.
Why?
Yuna looked back. The maid lowered her head.
That room belongs to Mr. Yoonji. He doesn't allow anyone inside, not even the staff. There are things he doesn't like people touching.
She hesitated before speaking again.
If he finds out someone entered, he won't be pleased.
Yuna slowly let go of the handle. A strange feeling settled inside her. What was he hiding? But she quickly shook the thought away. Only a few more months, then she'd leave. His secrets weren't hers to uncover. Three days later, Yunja returned. The mansion felt alive again. Late that night, Yuna noticed the master bedroom was completely dark. Thinking he had fallen asleep after the long flight, she quietly opened the door.
Yoon?
No answer. She stepped inside. Click. The door closed behind her. Her heart skipped. Before she could turn, someone gently caught her wrist. Another hand rested against the wall beside her. She was trapped. His familiar scent surrounded her. Then his voice broke the silence. Soft, almost affectionate.
You came looking for me.
His fingertips slowly brushed a loose strand of hair away from her face.
I was beginning to miss you.
Yunja, we shouldn't.
Yuna's heartbeat quickened. A faint smile touched his lips.
Shouldn't what?
He leaned closer. Close enough for her to hear every breath.
Why, baby girl?
Then he whispered. At that exact moment, moonlight slipped through the curtains. It illuminated only one part of his face. His eyes, deep, sharp, predatory. Yuna froze. Those eyes. No, it couldn't be. But they were impossible to mistake. The same eyes, the same gaze. That had stared at her through a black mask. On the night blood stained the snow. Her lips parted. No words came out. Yunja quietly watched her. Then, a slow smile appeared on his face. Not warm, not kind. The smile of a man who had been waiting for this moment.
You?
There it is. I was wondering when you'd remember.
Barely above a whisper.
You?
Yes. My eyes finally betrayed me.
Yuna instinctively stepped back.
You? You were there?
His smile widened.
I was.
Silence filled the room. Yuna's breathing became uneven.
You're the masked man.
A quiet laugh escaped him. Calm, controlled, far more terrifying than anger.
Good. I was beginning to think my wife wasn't very observant.
Yuna's face drained of color. Without another thought, she shoved him aside and ran. She sprinted through the hallway. The front door, locked. The back door, locked. Every window, locked.
No.
She desperately pulled at the handle. It didn't move. Behind her, a slow clap echoed through the mansion. 1, 2, 3. She slowly turned. Yunja stood at the end of the hallway, completely calm, completely in control. He walked toward her with slow, measured steps, like a hunter approaching prey that had nowhere left to run.
Have you finished?
His voice remained calm, almost gentle. That somehow made it even more frightening. Yuna backed away.
Stay away from me.
He stopped only inches away.
Why? You've been living with me for weeks. You've eaten beside me. You've slept under my roof.
He leaned slightly closer.
And now you're afraid?
Yuna stared at him in horror.
You're a murderer.
For the first time, his smile disappeared. His eyes turned ice cold.
Choose your words carefully.
A heavy silence followed. Then he spoke again. Every word slow, every word deliberate.
Murderers kill for pleasure. I don't. I remove people who become threats. My world doesn't survive on mercy. It survives on fear.
He never looked away.
That's why they call me the king.
Yuna's voice trembled.
Why me?
Yunja looked at her quietly before answering.
Because fate has an odd sense of humor. You took one wrong turn. You hid behind one wall. You looked into my eyes.
A faint smile returned. Gentle, yet somehow even more terrifying.
I've watched thousands of people. They all looked away. You didn't. You were terrified, but you still looked.
He stepped closer. Their eyes met again.
And from that moment, I couldn't forget you. I knew you before that night, but your eyes made me lose every reason to let you go.
Yuna's breathing caught. His voice dropped to a whisper.
Everyone who sees this face becomes a witness. Witnesses disappear, but you
A faint chuckle escaped him.
became my obsession. I could have buried you with that secret. Instead, I brought you into my world.
He rested his forehead gently against hers.
Tell me, baby girl, isn't that far more dangerous? You think I trapped you with a contract. No, I trapped you the moment you looked into my eyes and realized I never wanted to forget yours.
Yuna stopped breathing. He had been watching her from the very beginning. Her voice barely escaped.
Was that kidnapping your doing?
Yunja didn't answer. He simply smiled. That smile was answer enough. He leaned close and whispered.
The ransom was never about money. It was about giving you a door and making sure you walked through it willingly.
Yuna felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. Everything. The kidnapping, the contract, the marriage. Every choice she thought she had made had been planned. Yunja gently lifted her chin, forcing her to meet his eyes. His voice was barely a whisper.
Look around, baby girl. This mansion, this city, my empire. And you're already inside it.
A slow smile spread across his face. Cold, possessive, certain.
You never realized you stepped into my world the moment our eyes met in that alley. And once something becomes mine, I never let it go.
A slow smile curved across Yoonjia's lips. Not warm, not kind. The smile of a man who knew he already had complete control. He stepped closer until only a breath separated them. His voice was calm, almost gentle.
I know you, baby girl. The first thing you'll do is try to run. But before you make that mistake...
He reached into the pocket of his coat and pulled out his iPad. With one tap, the screen lit up. Yuna's eyes widened. It was a live CCTV feed. Ji-yeon, safe, studying inside a modern apartment in the United States. Unaware that someone was watching his every move. Another camera, the apartment entrance. Another, the hallway. Another, outside the building. There was nowhere Ji-yeon could go without being seen. Yuna's breathing became shallow.
You're watching him?
Yoonjia never looked away from her.
24 hours a day. He's living in my apartment. My people protect him.
A brief pause. His expression remained unreadable.
Protection and observation often look the same.
Yuna slowly shook her head. Fear filled her eyes.
I'm afraid of you.
For a moment, silence. Then Yoonja smiled.
Good.
He gently brushed a strand of hair away from her face.
Fear looks good on you.
Before she could react, he slipped one arm beneath her knees and the other around her back. With effortless ease, he lifted her into his arms. Not roughly, almost carefully, as if she were the most valuable thing he had ever possessed. Yuna instinctively struggled.
Put me down!
He continued walking through the silent hallway toward the master bedroom. His footsteps echoed across the marble floor. Steady, unhurried, as though he already knew she had nowhere left to run. When he reached the bedroom, he gently set her on the edge of the bed and took a step back, never breaking eye contact.
Relax, baby girl. I'm not here to hurt you. I simply want you to understand one thing.
He paused, his voice dropping almost to a whisper.
As long as you're with me, no one can touch you. The only person you need to fear
A faint smile appeared on his lips.
is me.
The room fell silent. Outside, snow continued to fall. Inside, Yuna realized that escaping Yoonja's mansion might be impossible, but escaping Yoonja himself would be even harder. That night, neither of them spoke another word. The mansion was silent. Only the soft sound of snow tapping against the windows filled the room. Yuna lay stiffly on one side of the bed, as far from him as she could. She kept her eyes open, staring into the darkness. Then, the mattress shifted. A strong arm slowly wrapped around her waist. She froze. Yoonji pulled her gently against his chest. His embrace wasn't rough. It was firm, possessive, as though he feared she would disappear the moment he let go. Yuna's breath caught in her throat. She didn't dare move, didn't dare speak. Behind her, his breathing remained slow and steady. Within minutes, he had fallen asleep. But Yuna couldn't close her eyes. Her heart pounded against her ribs. She was lying beside the very man who had shattered her world. The masked stranger. The mastermind behind her brother's kidnapping. The man who had turned her life into a carefully planned prison. A monster, sleeping peacefully beside her. Tears silently slipped down her cheeks. She whispered to herself,
"How am I supposed to live beside a monster?"
Outside, the snow continued to fall. Inside, sleep never came to her, because every time she closed her eyes, she could still see those haunting eyes staring back at her from behind the mask. The next morning, a pale winter sun filtered through the curtains. Yuna slowly opened her eyes. For a brief moment, she forgot where she was. Then the memories rushed back. The mansion, the contract, Yoonji. She turned toward the other side of the bed. Empty. The sheets were already cold. He had left hours ago. A small breath escaped her lips. For the first time since last night, she felt she could breathe again. After getting ready for work, she grabbed her handbag and walked downstairs. Everything looked as elegant as ever. The marble floors, the crystal chandeliers, the quiet luxury. Yet none of it felt like home. It felt like a cage dressed in gold. She walked confidently toward the mansion's entrance. Just as she reached the door, 2 security guards stepped in front of her.
Mrs. Min,
One of them bowed politely.
I'm afraid you can't leave.
Yuna frowned.
What do you mean?
The guard kept his head lowered.
Mr. Min's orders. You are not permitted to leave the mansion unless he is with you.
For a moment, she simply stared at him, certain she had misheard. Yuna's voice hardened.
I'm going to the office. I'm his executive assistant.
The guard didn't move.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Those were Mr. Min's instructions. No exceptions.
Yuna clenched her fists.
So, I'm not even allowed to go to work?
The guard answered calmly.
Mr. Min has already informed the company. You've been granted leave.
Her heart sank. Everything had already been decided. Without asking her, without even telling her. She looked at the massive iron gates beyond the driveway. They stood wide enough for any car to pass through, yet they felt more unreachable than prison bars. For the first time, Yuna truly understood. She wasn't living in a luxurious mansion. She was living inside Yoonji's carefully designed prison. And every passing moment reminded her of one terrifying truth. She wasn't his wife. She was his possession. The mansion fell silent once again. Without Yoonji, it felt colder, larger, almost lifeless. Yuna wandered through the endless hallways with no destination. She didn't know what to do anymore. Every door, every hallway, every guard reminded her of the same terrifying truth. She was trapped. Her thoughts spiraled. Why was he so obsessed with me? What does he really want? What happens after these 6 months? Will he ever let me go? Then, a memory flashed through her mind. The locked room. The one the maid had warned her never to enter. Without another thought, she hurried upstairs. The 3rd floor was deserted. No maids, no guards, no footsteps. only silence. She stopped before the door. It was still unlocked. Her heart pounded. Slowly, she wrapped her fingers around the handle. The door creaked open. Darkness greeted her. She stepped inside. The room smelled cold, unused, as if no one had entered it for years. Her trembling hand searched the wall until her fingers found a switch. Click. The lights flickered on. Yuna froze. An entire wall was covered with surveillance monitors. Dozens of CCTV screens, every corner of the mansion. The entrance, the hallways, the staircase, the dining room, the library, even her bedroom. Her breath caught in her throat. One screen showed her empty bedroom. Another showed the balcony. Another, the bathroom entrance. Her hands began to shake.
He was watching me.
She stumbled backward, but before she could leave, something on the opposite wall caught her attention. She slowly turned, and her world stopped. Hundreds of photographs. Every inch of the wall was covered. Not random photographs. Photographs of her. Yuna stepped closer. There she was, walking home from work, reading a book in a cafe, crossing a busy street, laughing with her college friends, standing outside her office, sleeping on the sofa in her old apartment. One photo showed her carrying groceries. Another captured her waiting at a traffic signal. Another, smiling at something beyond the camera. Her breathing became uneven. She kept moving. The photographs became older, much older. College, freshman orientation, the university library, the annual festival. Even pictures she didn't remember anyone taking. Some were clearly captured from a distance, some from inside crowds, some through windows. Years. He had been collecting them for years. Her knees weakened. She staggered back, unable to look away. Tears filled her eyes.
How long have you been watching me?
She was so lost in the photographs, she never heard the door open behind her. The room remained silent until a familiar warmth settled behind her. Strong arms slipped gently around her waist. Yuna gasped. She tried to step away, but his hold was firm. Not painful, just impossible to ignore. Yunja lowered his head, his voice barely above a whisper.
You're moving too fast, baby girl.
Yuna's entire body stiffened. She slowly turned to face him, anger replacing the fear in her eyes.
You lied to me. You've known me for years. Who are you?
A faint, unreadable smile appeared on Yunja's face.
Some questions are better left unanswered. For now, you know enough.
Yuna shook her head. Her voice trembled.
Why are you doing this? Was everything, the kidnapping, the marriage, just part of your plan?
His gaze never left hers. Calm, patient, dangerously certain.
Is this really just about a 6-month contract?
For a brief moment, silence filled the room. Then Yunja let out a quiet laugh. Not loud, not mocking, just certain.
You still believe you'll be free after 6 months?
He took one slow step closer.
Are you really that naive?
Yuna felt her throat tighten. She forced herself to meet his eyes.
I can never love you, Yunja. Every time I look at you, all I feel is fear.
For the first time, his smile faded. He looked at her for several long seconds. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, almost emotionless.
Who said I was waiting for your love?
He gently lifted her chin until she had no choice but to meet his gaze. His dark eyes never wavered.
Love is unpredictable. Possession isn't.
A slow smile returned to his lips.
I simply take what's mine.
The room fell silent. Outside, snow drifted quietly beyond the windows. Inside, Yuna realized something far more terrifying than the photographs. Yunja wasn't trying to make her love him. He had already decided she belonged to him. Days quietly slipped by. 1 became 3. 3 became 7. Then, almost 2 weeks. Yuna slowly realized something she had been refusing to accept. There was no escaping Yoonji's gaze. No matter where she went inside the mansion, a camera followed. A guard watched. Or Yoonji somehow already knew. Every attempt to find freedom ended the same way, with Yoonji calmly reminding her she was already inside his world. But what tormented her even more was Ji-yeon. He was safe, comfortable, living in Yoonji's luxury apartment in the United States. Yet, he was just as trapped as she was. Only, he didn't know it. Sometimes, Yoonji allowed Yuna to video call her brother. The moment Ji-yeon's smiling face appeared on the screen, Yuna forced herself to smile back. She buried every fear, every tear, every truth. We stepped closer.
Onni, you should see this place. It's amazing. Mr. Min even enrolled me in one of the best universities. I finally have my own apartment. Can you believe it?
Yuna's heart tightened. She smiled, but it never reached her eyes.
I'm happy you're doing well.
Ji-yeon laughed.
Mr. Min is actually a really good person. He's taking such good care of me. You worried for nothing.
Those words pierced her heart. If only he knew. The man he admired was the very reason she had lost her freedom. Yuna wanted to tell him everything. She wanted to scream, "Run! Don't trust him! Come back!" But she couldn't. Because somewhere, she knew Yoonji was listening, watching, waiting. After the call ended, Yuna lowered her phone with trembling hands. A tear silently rolled down her cheek. She had saved her brother's life, only to lose both of their freedom. And for the first time, she wondered if Yoonji had planned even this, to make Ji-yeon admire him, so that if the truth ever came out, no one would believe her. Almost a month had passed like this. That night, after an exhausting day, Yuna stepped out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around her. The bedroom was dimly lit, and she didn't realize Yoonji had already returned. Standing near the window, he was unbuttoning his shirt, his back turned to her. She quietly walked toward the wardrobe to get dressed. Then she noticed him. Her footsteps froze. For a brief moment, her eyes lingered on his broad shoulders and toned back before she quickly looked away, silently scolding herself.
I should leave.
She turned to go, but before she could take another step, a warm hand closed around her wrist. In one swift motion, Yoonji pulled her toward him. A faint smile played on his lips.
Like what you see?
Yuna immediately lowered her gaze.
Yoonji, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here.
His fingers gently brushed her cheek, tucking a damp strand of hair behind her ear. His touch was gentle, yet there was an unmistakable possessiveness in the way he held her.
I'm glad you didn't. Otherwise, how would I have gotten the chance to hold you like this?
Her heart hammered against her chest.
You can't.
He stepped closer until only a breath separated them.
I can't. What?
His voice softened into a whisper.
Touch my own wife?
Without another word, he lifted her effortlessly into his arms and carried her to the bed, laying her down with surprising care. For a long moment, he simply looked at her, as though memorizing every detail of her face. Then, slowly, he leaned closer. His lips brushed against her cheek, lingering there for a heartbeat before slowly grazing her jawline and trailing down to the curve of her neck. Every feather-light touch sent another wave of warmth through her, making her heart beat even faster. There was something about the warmth of his touch, the tenderness hidden beneath his possessiveness, that made it impossible for Yuna to pull away. She wanted to stop him, to say something, yet no words would come. Then he kissed her. Slowly at first, gentle and unhurried, as if savoring the moment after weeks of silent distance. His embrace tightened around her, while his hands rested lightly against her shoulders, lingering at the edge of the towel wrapped around her. Yuna's breath caught in her throat as she closed her eyes, unable to deny the feelings she had tried so hard to bury. Outside, the snow continued to fall, covering the silent night in white, while inside the room, only the sound of their unsteady breaths broke the silence. The next morning, a pale beam of winter sunlight slipped through the curtains. Yuna slowly opened her eyes. Before she could move, she felt a firm arm resting around her waist. Her breath caught. Yoonji was still asleep beside her. His face looked unusually peaceful. Nothing like the cold, calculating man the world feared. Yet, even in his sleep, his embrace never loosened. It was almost as if he feared she would disappear the moment he let go. Yuna carefully looked down at his hand. Strong, possessive, certain. She slowly tried to move away. The moment she shifted, his arm instinctively tightened, drawing her a little closer. She closed her eyes in frustration.
Why couldn't I push him away last night?
She pressed her lips together. Every day, he seemed to break down another wall around her heart. Not with grand gestures, not with threats, but with quiet certainty, with patience, with the unsettling confidence of a man who never doubted the outcome. It terrified her, because she could no longer tell whether she feared him or feared the possibility that one day she might stop resisting him altogether. She slowly turned her head to look at him. His expression remained calm, completely unaware that she was awake, or perhaps he was simply pretending. A chill ran through her. The photographs, the surveillance room, the kidnapping, the contract. None of it had been an accident. Every road she had taken, every choice she believed she had made, seemed to lead to the same destination. Yoonji. As though he had been arranging the pieces of her life for years, waiting patiently for the day she would become part of his world. Outside, snow continued to blanket the city. Inside, Yuna couldn't shake the feeling that every path behind her had quietly disappeared, and the only road left led deeper into Yoonji's empire. That afternoon, the mansion was unusually quiet. Snow drifted lazily beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. Yuna sat alone by the large glass window, hugging her knees to her chest. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't thinking about escaping. She was thinking about the past. The photographs, hundreds of them, some taken only months ago, others from her college days. She frowned.
How long has he known me? Was it since college? Then why can't I remember him?
She closed her eyes, forcing herself to think. The campus, the classrooms, the library, festivals, faces of friends, fragments of laughter. Everything appeared in broken pieces. But Yoonji didn't exist. No matter how hard she searched, she couldn't remember ever seeing his face. A dull ache spread through her head. She pressed her fingers against her temple.
Who are you? And why do I feel like I've forgotten something important?
Another memory surfaced. Faint, blurred. She remembered waking up in a hospital. The smell of antiseptic, white walls, machines beeping beside her bed. Someone crying. And then, the words that shattered her world. Your parents are gone. Tears welled up in her eyes. She remembered the grief, the funeral, the loneliness that followed. But strangely, she couldn't remember how her parents had died. Not even a single detail. She couldn't remember why she had been admitted to the hospital, or what had happened before she opened her eyes in that hospital room. It was as though someone had erased an entire chapter of her life. She slowly looked out at the falling snow.
What if I've forgotten far more than I ever realized?
Her heart pounded. Without another thought, Yuna grabbed her phone and called Jian. The call connected almost immediately.
Ani, is everything okay?
Yuna didn't waste a second.
Jian, tell me the truth. Do you know exactly how Mom and Dad died?
A brief silence followed.
I don't know every detail. I only know it was a car accident. You were in the same car with them. Thank God you survived. Otherwise, I would have had no one left.
Yuna's eyes widened. Her fingers tightened around the phone.
I was in the same car?
Yes, I know you've forgotten parts of your past. That's why I never brought it up. I didn't want to make you relive that pain.
Yuna's breathing grew uneven.
Why, Jian? Was I the reason they died?
Her voice broke on the last words. Jian answered immediately.
No, Annie, of course not. It was just an accident.
Yuna closed her eyes. A tear rolled down her cheek. Then why were you afraid to tell me? On the other end, Jian hesitated. When he finally spoke, his voice had become uncertain.
Because that day, you told Mom and Dad you wanted them to meet someone you liked.
Yuna's heartbeat stopped.
Someone I liked.
They were driving to meet him. Then a luxury car crashed into yours. You were sitting in the back seat. That's why you survived. But
his voice faltered.
Mom and Dad didn't.
Silence. The words echoed inside Yuna's mind. A man she liked. A luxury car. The accident. Her head suddenly throbbed. Broken flashes began to surface, a voice she couldn't quite hear. She pressed a trembling hand against her forehead.
Who was in the car?
The line remained silent. Neither of them knew that someone outside the study door had heard every single word. And he wasn't surprised. That night, the mansion was wrapped in silence. Only the sound of falling snow echoed beyond the tall windows. Yoonji walked through the dim hallway without turning on the lights. His footsteps stopped before the secret room. The door opened. Click. A faint light illuminated the walls. Hundreds of photographs. Every stage of Yuna's life, every smile, every ordinary moment. His gaze lingered on a faded college photograph. A slow, dangerously satisfied smile curved across his lips. He reached out and gently traced her face in the picture. His eyes softened. For the first time, the cold Mafia king disappeared. Only a man consumed by obsession remained.
Baby girl, you'll never remember. Perhaps fate, or perhaps God, always stood on my side.
He let out a quiet laugh, almost bitter.
From the very first day I saw you on campus, I was already lost. You never even noticed me. I tried to get close to you, but your eyes were always searching for someone else.
He looked at another photograph. Yuna, standing beside a young man. Taejin. His jaw tightened.
Do you know how many years I waited? I already had everything. Money, power, my father's entire empire that feared my name. But none of it mattered, because the only thing I ever wanted was you.
Silence filled the room. His expression darkened.
I refused to lose again. So I made sure that every road would eventually lead back to me.
His fingers slowly curled into a fist.
Now, no one stands between us. No distance, no past, no Taejin.
He looked once more at the wall covered with her photographs. His voice dropped to a whisper.
Every day, I'll become the only person in your world. Not because I'll ask you to forget everyone else, but because there will be no one left to remember.
A faint smile returned. Calm, possessive, unshakable.
You call this a prison. I call it a place where no one can ever take you away from me again.
He rested his forehead against the wall of photographs, closing his eyes for a brief moment.
I never let go. of what I believe is mine.
That night, Yuna couldn't sleep. She lay awake in the darkness, staring at the ceiling. Every time she closed her eyes, the same questions returned. Questions she had never thought to ask before. Questions that suddenly refused to leave her alone.
If I was supposed to meet the man I loved that day, why didn't he ever come to see me in the hospital?
A pause. Her brows slowly furrowed.
Why did no one tell me about him? And why did I forget him so completely?
There was something else. Her job. She had applied to one of the biggest agencies in the city, and somehow she had been hired after her very first interview. Not as an ordinary employee, as the CEO's executive assistant. A position most people would have fought years to earn. At the time, Yuna had considered herself lucky. Now, it didn't feel like luck anymore.
How did I get that job so easily? Why did Yoonji choose me?
Her breathing became slower. Another question surfaced. One she had never even considered.
Who paid my hospital bills?
She sat up. Her heart began beating faster.
Who?
The more she thought about it, the more unsettling everything became. Her job, her hospital stay, her memories, Yoonji. None of it seemed connected, and yet, somehow, everything led back to him. Yuna slowly got out of bed and walked toward the window. Snowflakes drifted past the glass. Beautiful, silent, almost unreal. She pressed her palm against the cold window. For years, she had accepted the life she remembered. Her parents had died. She had survived. She had raised Jian. She had worked hard. That was all. Or, at least, that's what she had believed. But now she realized something terrifying. She didn't remember the accident. Not really. She remembered the hospital, the white walls, the smell of antiseptic, the machines beside her bed, the unbearable pain of being told that her parents were gone. That everything before that was blurred. Her college years were the same. She remembered fragments, a classroom, a library, friends laughing, walking across campus, the warmth of sunlight, a familiar voice calling her name. But whenever she tried to hold on to those memories, they disappeared, like smoke between her fingers.
Why can't I remember?
She closed her eyes.
What happened to me that day?
Then, her eyes fell on her phone. Earlier that evening, she had seen Taejin's photograph. Just one photograph. One face. One name. And yet, her heart had reacted before her mind could understand why. She opened the picture again. Taejin. The moment she saw his face, her chest tightened. A strange ache spread through her heart. Not the pain of remembering someone she knew. It was deeper than that. It felt like missing someone. Someone her heart still remembered, even if her mind didn't. She touched the screen with her fingertips. Her eyes filled with tears.
Why does seeing you hurt so much?
A faint memory flashed. A university campus. A warm afternoon. A man's hand reaching toward hers. Laughter. Then nothing. The memory vanished. Yuna gasped and opened her eyes.
I knew you.
She stared at his photograph.
Didn't I?
Silence. She swallowed hard.
Did I really love you?
Another tear slipped down her cheek. She had spent years believing that the accident had taken her parents from her. Tonight, for the first time, she wondered if it had taken something else, too. Something far more personal. Something she had never even realized was missing.
Where are you now, Taejin?
She was lost in thought, staring into the darkness beyond the window. A single tear slipped silently down her cheek. She didn't even notice it. Until
Still awake, baby girl?
Yuna froze. Her breath caught. She slowly turned around. Yoonji stood a few steps behind her, his dark gaze fixed on her. He walked toward her, unhurried, his eyes never leaving hers.
Seems like you're lost in deep thought.
He stopped in front of her. His gaze dropped briefly to the tear on her cheek, then back to her eyes. A faint, almost amused smile touched his lips.
But at this hour of the night,
He stepped closer.
you shouldn't be thinking about anything else.
His fingers gently brushed the tear away. His voice lowered.
Especially not when I'm right here.
Yuna's heart skipped. Before she could respond, Yoonji leaned closer. His lips barely grazed her cheek. The simple touch sent a shiver through her. She held her breath. For a moment, everything disappeared. The questions, the missing memories, Taejin, the accident, everything. There was only Yoonji. Something about him was dangerously addictive. She hated how easily he could silence the chaos inside her with nothing more than his presence. She hated that her heart reacted to him before her mind could stop it. And most of all, she hated that she couldn't deny the attraction. But then reality returned. Her eyes opened, and the warmth disappeared. Because beneath that irresistible pull was fear, betrayal, anger. He wasn't simply the man who made her heart race. He was the man who had taken away her freedom. The man who had decided her future without asking her. The man who had turned her life into a cage and called it protection.
You are the reason I'm trapped here.
The words hung between them. Yuna's eyes burned with frustration. She looked around the dark room, then back at him.
This is suffocating me.
Her voice trembled.
Why do you have so many pictures of me?
Yoonja's expression remained unreadable.
How long have you known me?
For a moment, he said nothing. That silence was enough to make her heart pound harder.
Tell me, Yoonja.
She stepped closer.
How long have you been watching me?
Yoonja's gaze softened slightly, but he didn't answer. Instead, he reached for her hand.
You're thinking too much, baby girl.
Yuna pulled her hand away.
Don't change the subject.
Yoonja glanced toward the enormous windows overlooking the snow-covered grounds.
Maybe it's this mansion.
Yuna frowned.
Maybe this place is suffocating you.
He looked back at her.
I'll take you somewhere else.
Yuna gave a bitter laugh.
Somewhere else?
She shook her head.
Wherever you take me, it doesn't matter.
Her eyes met his.
I can't escape the truth. You're dangerous, Yoonja.
The faint smile disappeared from his face. He walked toward her. One step, then another, until there was barely any distance between them. His gaze dropped to her lips for a moment, before returning to her eyes.
You still melt whenever I touch you.
Yuna's breath caught. She wanted to deny it, but the words wouldn't come. Yunja leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper.
That's what you don't understand.
His fingers gently brushed a strand of hair away from her face. His eyes darkened.
I'll burn the world down if that's what it takes to protect you. To make you mine.
Yuna stared at him. Silence. His words should have frightened her, and they did. Yunja didn't give her time to think. He pulled her gently into his embrace and kissed her. For a moment, Yuna froze. She knew she should push him away. She knew she should be angry. But once again, she couldn't. Her fingers tightened against his shirt as her mind slowly went quiet. The questions disappeared. The fear disappeared. For those few stolen seconds, there was only him. And that terrified her more than anything else. Yunja finally pulled away, his forehead almost touching hers. His eyes searched her face. A faint smile curved his lips.
Still going to tell me you don't feel anything?
Yuna looked away, refusing to answer. He didn't press her. Instead, he brushed his thumb lightly across her cheek.
Be ready next week, baby girl.
Yuna frowned.
For what?
His smile deepened.
We're going somewhere.
Where?
He leaned closer, his voice deliberately teasing.
Somewhere far away from this mansion.
A pause. Then,
call it a vacation.
His eyes glinted with amusement.
Or, if you prefer,
he whispered the next words near her ear.
Our honeymoon.
Yuna's eyes widened.
Honeymoon?
Yunja smiled.
Why do you look so surprised, baby girl?
He stepped back, leaving her completely speechless.
Get some sleep.
Three days passed. To everyone else, Yuna seemed unusually calm, but inside, her questions were only growing. That afternoon, she was on a video call with Jian. Her eyes briefly moved toward the CCTV camera in the corner of the room. She knew she was being watched, so she lowered her voice.
Jian.
Nuna?
Yuna glanced toward the camera again, then whispered.
Do you know where Taejin used to live?
There was a brief silence on the other end.
Taejin?
His voice immediately changed.
Why are you asking about him now?
Yuna lowered her eyes. She hesitated.
I'm trying to remember.
Jian sighed.
Nuna, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yuna remained silent.
You're already married, and honestly, you couldn't have found a better husband than Yoonji. Even Taejin didn't come to see you after the accident. Do you really think someone who loved you would have stayed away after something like that?
Yuna's heart sank. She looked down at her hands.
I don't know. That's exactly what I'm trying to understand. I don't remember what happened, Jian. Please, just tell me where he used to live.
Jian hesitated, then finally gave her the address. Yuna quickly memorized it.
Thank you.
Nuna, are you sure this is a good idea?
I just want answers.
The call ended. Yuna slowly placed her phone down. Her eyes remained fixed on the address she had memorized. Taejin's address.
Why didn't you come to see me?
Her eyes grew distant. Maybe Taejin could tell her what happened that day. Maybe seeing him would bring back the memories she had lost. Maybe he could tell her what really happened to her parents. But then reality hit her. Yoonja, the mansion, the guards, the cameras. She glanced toward the CCTV in the corner.
How am I supposed to get out of here?
Every movement was watched. Every door was guarded. and Yoonja seemed to know everything before she even said it. She clenched her hands.
I can't just walk out. I need a plan.
Her eyes returned to Taejin's address. She knew it was dangerous, but for the first time since waking up from the accident, Yuna had something she wanted more than safety. The truth. She wanted to know what happened that night, why her memories were gone, why Taejin disappeared, and most importantly, how her parents really died.
I have to meet him, even if I have to escape Yoonja to do it.
But Yuna didn't know. Yoonja's mansion had very few secrets, and escaping it was going to be much harder than she imagined. For the entire day, Yuna searched the mansion. Not openly. She was careful. Every hallway, every staircase, every security door, every camera. She memorized the guards' routines and watched which doors were locked and which ones weren't. She wasn't looking for a way out because she wanted to run away forever. She only needed a few hours. A few hours to find Taejin. A few hours to finally uncover the truth about the past she couldn't remember. And by late afternoon, she found it. A narrow passage at the back of the mansion. Beyond it was an old service gate. Unlike the main entrance, there were no guards standing directly beside it. The security here was surprisingly light. Yuna stopped. Her eyes moved toward the high wall surrounding the property. The gate itself was locked, but the wall was climbable. Not easily, but possible.
I can do this.
She looked around carefully. No guards, no footsteps, no one watching. For the first time since Yoonja had brought her here, she saw a way out. Her heart began pounding. Taejin's address wasn't far from the mansion, barely 30 minutes away. If everything went according to plan, she could leave, meet him, get the answers she needed, and return before Yoonja came home. 2 hours, maybe 3 at most. That was all she needed. Yuna looked back toward the mansion, the place that had become her beautiful prison.
Tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow.
Her fingers tightened around the small piece of paper where she had secretly written Taejin's address. She knew it was risky. If Yoonja discovered what she was planning, she had no idea what he would do. But she couldn't keep living with unanswered questions. She needed to know why Taejin had disappeared, why she couldn't remember him, why her parents had died, and why Yoonja seemed to know so much about a life she couldn't even remember herself. Yuna believed she had found the perfect opportunity. Leave tomorrow. Meet Taejin. Return before Yoonja came home. Simple. At least, that's what she thought. Because there was one thing Yuna still didn't know. In Yoonja's world, nothing happened without him knowing. Not even an escape. The next morning, Yuna did the impossible. She escaped the mansion. Her heart pounded the entire way, terrified that at any moment someone would find her and drag her back. But they didn't. She took a cab and gave the driver the address Ji-yeon had given her. 30 minutes later, the cab stopped in front of an old, quiet house. Yuna stared at it through the window. Something about the place felt strangely familiar. She stepped out. The moment her feet touched the pavement, a strange sensation passed through her. A flash. A university campus. A young man laughing. Someone calling her name. A hand holding hers. Then, darkness. Yuna pressed her fingers against her temple.
Taejin.
She looked at the house again, Her heart was beating strangely fast. She walked toward the gate and pressed the calling bell. After a few seconds, the door opened. An elderly woman stood there. The moment she saw Yuna, her expression changed completely. Shock, then anger. Her eyes filled with tears.
After taking everything from my life, you still have the courage to ask me that?
Yuna stepped back, confused.
I'm sorry. Do I know you?
She quickly took out her phone. She opened Taejin's photograph and held it toward the woman.
I'm looking for him. Does Taejin live here?
The moment the woman saw the photograph, her face crumbled. She covered her mouth. Tears immediately streamed down her cheeks. Yuna stared at her, confused and frightened.
Why are you crying?
The woman looked at her with disbelief.
You're asking me where Taejin is?
Yes.
You are the reason he's not here.
What do you mean?
That day, Taejin left his house to meet you. He said he was going to see you, but he never came back.
Yuna's eyes widened.
Never came back?
The woman shook her head.
We searched everywhere. Police, hospitals, friends, everywhere we could think of.
She looked at Taejin's photograph again.
3 days. For 3 days, we had no idea where he was.
Then what happened?
On the 3rd day, I finally received a call from him.
What did he say?
He said, I may not return home. Then he said something I could never forget. If I return, your life and my Nuna's life will be in danger.
Yuna couldn't breathe.
His Nuna?
The woman nodded.
Yes, and after that call, we never heard from him again.
Yuna's fingers trembled around her phone.
But if he disappeared that day, why didn't anyone tell me?
You really don't know?
I swear, I don't.
Even I don't know whether my son is alive or dead. And you are standing here telling me that you don't know anything?
Yuna stood frozen. Taejin had disappeared. On the same day she was supposed to meet him. Yuna left the house with tears streaming down her face. Everything she had believed about Taejin was falling apart. He hadn't simply abandoned her. He had disappeared. And somehow, she was connected to it. She wiped her tears as she walked toward the road. Then, a familiar voice stopped her in her tracks.
Baby girl?
Yuna's heartbeat skipped, then thudded violently against her chest. Her eyes widened. She knew that voice. She slowly turned around. Yoonji stood there, already waiting for her. Her blood ran cold.
Yoonji.
Before she could move, he walked toward her. He caught her wrist and pulled her toward him, drawing her into his embrace. Yuna stiffened. Yoonji gently tilted her chin upward, forcing her to meet his eyes. But there was no anger in his expression. No shouting, no rage. Only that calm, dark smile.
You should have asked me if you wanted to go somewhere, baby girl.
His thumb brushed slowly across her cheek.
I would have taken you myself.
Yuna's eyes filled with tears.
How did you know I was here?
Come on, baby girl. You should know me better than that. I know everything about my baby girl, even the things she doesn't tell me.
Yuna's heart sank. She looked toward the house behind her, then back at him. Fear took over.
Please, Yoonji, forgive me.
She grabbed his arm.
Please don't do anything to Jian. Or to me.
Yoonji stared at her for a moment, then gently wiped away one of her tears.
Do you really think I could hurt my baby girl?
His voice was almost tender, and somehow that made it worse. He opened the car door.
Come.
Yuna hesitated. Yoonji waited. She finally stepped inside. He followed and closed the door behind her. Before getting into the driver's seat, Yoonji looked once toward the old woman's house. His expression remained calm.
Just don't make the same mistake again.
What do you mean?
Yoonji turned toward her. The dark smile returned.
Don't do anything that puts other people's lives in danger.
Yuna's face went pale. She immediately understood. The old woman.
Please, Yoonja, don't do anything to her.
Yoonja simply looked at her, then started the car.
Relax, baby girl. I told you, I don't hurt people who matter to you, as long as you don't give me a reason to.
Yuna fell silent. She stared out of the window, trying to hold back her tears. Yoonja noticed, but instead of saying anything about Taejin, he changed the subject completely.
Now, where should we go first?
Yuna looked at him, confused.
We need to go shopping.
Shopping?
For our honeymoon, baby girl. You'll feel better.
Yuna stared at their joined hands. She couldn't understand him. How could a man threaten the people around her and then speak to her so gently? They arrived at a huge luxury boutique. The moment they entered, Yoonji told her to choose whatever she wanted. Dresses, handbags, shoes, jewelry. He bought everything without hesitation.
Yoonji, this is too much. I don't need all of this.
It's our honeymoon, baby girl. Let me spoil you.
Yuna stared at him. She couldn't understand this man. The same man who could threaten someone without a second thought was now patiently choosing dresses for her, noticing every little thing she liked. She watched him quietly.
How can someone be so ruthless to others, yet so gentle with me?
And that question frightened her more than his anger ever could. After shopping, they finally returned to the mansion. But the moment they arrived, Yuna noticed something was different. The atmosphere was tense. Several familiar guards were missing. Others had taken their place, and every man standing there looked terrified. Yuna frowned. She stepped inside and froze. There were dark stains of blood across the marble floor. Her heart dropped.
Why is there so much blood on the floor?
Yoonja didn't answer immediately. He simply walked closer, then leaned toward her ear. His voice was barely a whisper.
Because they failed. They weren't focused on their job, and somehow...
A faint, dark smile touched his lips.
They let my baby girl slip right through their eyes.
Yuna's face went pale. She looked at the blood again, then at the empty spaces where the guards should have been. Suddenly, she understood.
No. Because of me?
Yoonja said nothing. He didn't need to. His silence was the answer. Yuna's breathing became unsteady. Those men had been guarding her, and because she escaped, they had paid the price. She looked at Yoonja. The same man who had spent the afternoon buying her everything she wanted had just ordered the punishment of the people who had failed to protect her. In that moment, Yuna finally understood the terrifying truth. Yoonja's softness toward her had a price, and anyone who stood between him and her could pay for it with their life. She looked at him with trembling eyes. For the first time, his love didn't feel like protection. It felt like a cage surrounded by blood. It had been a few days since the incident. Yuna still remembered the moment she had witnessed the security guards being killed. But somehow, with each passing day, the memories seemed to fade further into the background. That morning, they left for their honeymoon. After hours of flying, they finally arrived at a peaceful hill station, surrounded by mist-covered mountains. At the very top of the hill stood a massive mansion, almost hidden among the fog. Yuna stared at it through the car window, slightly confused.
Is that the hotel we're staying at?
Yoon-jae glanced toward the mansion.
No, that's my property.
Yuna turned toward him in disbelief.
Your property?
She looked back at the enormous mansion.
It's huge.
A faint smile touched his lips.
All of this land belongs to me.
Yuna fell silent. She was slowly beginning to understand just how powerful Yoon-jae really was. His wealth, his influence, his assets. They were far beyond anything she had ever imagined. When they finally arrived, Yuna went straight to her room. The moment she stepped inside, she was drawn toward the enormous window. The entire valley stretched out before her, covered in soft, white fog. The mountains looked like something straight out of a movie. Yuna stood there silently, mesmerized. She had always dreamed of visiting a place like this, and somehow, Yoon-jae had brought her here. It felt as though he knew every little thing she liked. Lost in her thoughts, she suddenly felt his arms wrap around her from behind. His lips brushed softly against her cheek, then the side of her neck. His voice came quietly beside her ear.
Liked this place?
How do you know me so well?
Yoon-jae's gaze remained fixed on her. His voice was calm, almost unsettlingly certain.
Because I've known you for years.
Yuna's expression changed. There was something in his words that made her heart skip. Yoon-jae leaned slightly closer.
I know the part of you that even you can't remember.
Yuna turned fully toward him. Her fingers caught his collar, pulling him closer.
What do you know, Yoon-jae? Just tell me. Why can't I remember anything? How did my parents die? And Tae?
She stopped. The moment her eyes met his dark gaze, the question disappeared from her lips. She couldn't bring herself to say Tae-jin's name. Yoon-jae noticed. A slow, knowing smirk appeared on his face.
Tae, what, baby girl?
Yuna remained silent. Their faces were only inches apart, their eyes locked. His expression suddenly hardened.
You're not allowed to think about another man while I'm here, baby girl.
He leaned closer.
Especially not that man who could.
Could what, Yoon-jae?
He didn't answer. Instead, he lifted her effortlessly into his arms and carried her toward the bed. He gently placed her down, then hovered over her. His eyes held hers. There was something unreadable in his gaze, something that made her heart race.
You don't need to remember anyone. Just think about me.
Then he kissed her, softly, slowly. And for a moment, the questions disappeared. The fear disappeared. Everything disappeared, as the world outside vanished behind the fog-covered windows. She closed her eyes. For a moment, there was no mansion, no secrets, no forgotten memories. Only him. Yoon-jae pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. His thumb brushed gently across her cheek. Stop thinking. His voice was barely above a whisper. Before she could answer, he leaned down and kissed her again. Slower this time, lingering for a moment longer. Yuna's heartbeat quickened. She could feel the warmth of his breath against her lips as he paused between kisses, their foreheads almost touching.
Just stay here with me.
His lips met hers once more, tender and unhurried. And for those few seconds, Yuna let herself forget the questions, even though somewhere deep inside her, she knew Yoonji was hiding something. That evening, while Yuna remained upstairs, Yoonjae descended into the hidden basement of the mansion. What looked like an ordinary luxury residence above ground concealed an entirely different world beneath it. The basement stretched into a massive underground warehouse filled with crates of illegal weapons and equipment. It was one of the most carefully guarded parts of his empire. And tonight, Yoonjae had come to meet someone he hadn't seen face to face in years. Ji-won, his trusted partner in the hill station, and the man responsible for overseeing this side of his illegal arms operation. Their business discussion continued for a long time, covering shipments, security, and the latest movements of their network. When everything was finally settled, Ji-won leaned back and studied him with a knowing smile.
Anyway, congratulations on the wedding.
Yoonjae raised an eyebrow.
You finally got her, after all these years of waiting.
Yoonjae said nothing. A faint smile appeared on his lips. Ji-won watched him for a moment before his expression became serious.
Did she remember?
Yoonjae's smile disappeared.
Not yet. And I don't want her to remember.
I figured. Does she know what actually happened to her?
No, I never let her find out.
Where is he now?
Yoonjae leaned back in his chair.
Somewhere under my control.
Ji-won studied his face before asking the question that had remained unanswered for years.
But why did you kill your own cousin, Yoonjae?
For a moment, Yoonjae's expression became completely emotionless.
Because he wanted to kill her. He knew I loved her. He wanted to take revenge on me by destroying the one person I could never afford to lose. So I made sure he never got another chance.
Ji-won remained silent. Two days had passed since they arrived at the hill station, and somehow, those 2 days felt completely different from anything Yuna had imagined. Yoonji had taken her to places she had only ever seen in photographs. A quiet lakeside surrounded by mountains, a little cafe hidden between pine trees, and a viewpoint where the entire valley disappeared beneath a sea of clouds. Everywhere they went, Yuna discovered another side of him. One morning, they stopped at a small roadside cafe. Yuna was admiring the view when Yoonji noticed her staring at a particular pastry behind the glass counter.
You want that?
Yuna immediately shook her head.
No, I was just looking.
He said nothing. A few minutes later, the pastry was placed in front of her. Yuna looked at him.
I said I didn't want it.
Yoonji calmly took a sip of his coffee.
You were looking at it for 3 minutes.
You actually noticed that?
I notice everything about you.
She didn't know what to say. The same man who could make an entire room fall silent with one look remembered which dessert she had been staring at. Later that afternoon, they went for a walk through the pine forest. The path was slippery from the morning fog. Yuna nearly lost her balance. Before she could fall, Yoonji caught her by the waist. His expression immediately changed.
Careful.
I'm fine.
He looked down at her shoes, then at the uneven path. Without saying another word, he held her hand firmly as they continued walking. For someone who was feared by so many people, he treated her as though she were made of glass. But that softness disappeared the moment someone crossed a line. That evening, one of the security men accidentally blocked their path while rushing toward Yoonji with an urgent message. The man began explaining himself nervously. Yoonji's expression changed. The warmth vanished from his eyes. His voice became cold.
How many times have I told you not to approach her without permission?
The security man lowered his head.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yoonji stared at him for a moment.
Make sure it doesn't happen again.
That was all. No shouting, no unnecessary anger. Yet the man's face went pale. Yuna watched silently. A few seconds later, Yoonji turned toward her and, just like that, the coldness disappeared. He gently adjusted her scarf.
You're cold.
Yuna stared at him. She couldn't understand it. How could the same man have two completely different faces? With others, he was ruthless, untouchable, intimidating. But with her, he lowered his voice, remembered the smallest things, held her hand while walking, made sure she ate, and looked at her as though protecting her was the most natural thing in the world. Perhaps that was the most frightening part. She was beginning to fall for the very man she should have been afraid of. That night, the mansion was unusually quiet. Fog had swallowed the hills, turning the world beyond the windows into a silver blur of shadows. Yuna stood by the glass, lost in thought, when she felt Yoonjae approach from behind. Usually, his presence made her tense. Usually, she would step away. But tonight, she didn't. Yoonjae stopped behind her, his eyes meeting hers through the reflection.
You're quiet tonight?
Yuna turned slowly. Their eyes locked. Neither spoke. He stepped closer and gently took her hand. She let him. No hesitation, no fear, no instinct to escape. His fingers traced the curve of her cheek, lingering there.
Thinking again?
Maybe.
He leaned toward her. She didn't move away. Their lips met, slowly, tenderly. The kiss carried everything they had refused to say, the fear, the longing, the confusion, and the strange pull neither could deny anymore. Yuna's fingers tightened around his shirt. Yoonjae paused, searching her eyes for permission. She answered by pulling him closer. The kiss deepened. His arms wrapped around her waist, holding her as though he had been waiting all this time for her to stop running from him. The cold fog pressed against the windows, but inside, everything felt impossibly warm. He lifted her gently and carried her toward the bedroom. Yuna's heart raced as he laid her softly on the bed. He leaned over her, his eyes never leaving hers. His lips brushed her forehead, then her cheek, then lingered at the curve of her neck, leaving soft, lingering kisses that made her close her eyes. She reached for him, drawing him closer. His fingers slowly slipped beneath the edge of her dress, easing the fabric from her shoulders with deliberate tenderness. There was no rush, only the quiet sound of their breathing and the rain beginning to whisper against the glass. Their bodies moved rhythmically, slowly at first, as their breathing grew heavier and more unsteady. His touch became more assured, while her fingers tightened around him, instinctively drawing him closer. Their breaths mingled in the quiet room, and this time, Yuna didn't stop herself. She didn't overthink it. She didn't question the feelings rushing through her. She simply surrendered to the warmth between them, allowing herself to experience the desire she had spent so long trying to suppress. For once, there was no fear, no resistance, only the overwhelming pull between two people who had finally stopped pretending they didn't want each other. Later that night, Yuna was deep asleep. The room was quiet, wrapped in the cold silence of the mountains. Then Yoonjae's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen,
Hello?
A tense voice came from the other end.
Sir, he's become violent again.
Yoonja's expression hardened instantly. He looked toward the bed. Yuna was still sleeping peacefully, completely unaware of what was happening beneath the mansion.
I'm coming.
He ended the call. Without making a sound, he took his overcoat and left the room. The mansion was silent as Yoonja walked through the dim corridor. He stopped before a seemingly ordinary door. A hidden security panel appeared beneath his touch. One lock, then another, then a third. Each mechanism clicked open. The final door revealed a passage leading deep beneath the mansion. After several security doors, Yoonja finally stepped into a completely different world. Unlike the cold, industrial warehouse surrounding it, this section had been designed as a fully furnished living space. A bedroom, a small kitchen, a bathroom, a television. Everything someone would need to live comfortably. Everything except freedom. A man stood near the window. His hair was disheveled, his eyes exhausted. He looked more like a prisoner who had forgotten what the outside world looked like than the dangerous man he had once been. The moment he saw Yoonja, he turned.
Please, let me go.
Yoonja stopped several feet away. Taejin's voice trembled.
Just once. I won't tell her anything. I won't go near her. I won't even meet her. I just want to see my mother.
Taejin, do you really think I'm going to let you go? You're lucky you're still alive.
Alive? Is this living? I haven't seen my family in years. I know what I did to her was wrong. I shouldn't have betrayed her. But I've accepted it. I won't see her. I won't tell her anything. Just let me see my family once.
Show him the CCTV footage.
The monitor on the wall flickered to life. Taejin immediately looked toward the screen. His family appeared on the footage, living their ordinary lives. His eyes softened.
I want to meet them.
Yoonja slowly turned his head. His dark, intimidating eyes met Taejin's. The words died in Taejin's throat. He knew that look. There was no negotiation left. Yoonja turned away.
Keep him here.
He walked toward the door. Behind him, Taejin remained frozen before the screen, watching his family from a distance he could never cross. The door closed, and the darkness swallowed him again. When Yoonja finally returned upstairs, the mansion was silent. He opened the bedroom door carefully. Yuna hadn't moved. She was still asleep. Her face was peaceful, completely unaware of the man who had just been kept hidden beneath the very floor she slept on. Yoonja stood beside the bed for a moment. Then he walked toward the small sitting area and poured himself a glass of whiskey. He sat in silence, staring into the amber liquid. His thoughts returned to Taejin, to the past, to everything Yuna still couldn't remember. Years ago, college. It was Yuna's first year of college. The university belonged to Yoonja's father, and Yoonja was already involved in its management, though few students knew his true identity. One morning, he arrived in his luxury car and noticed a girl entering the campus. Yuna. She wasn't trying to attract attention. She simply walked with a book against her chest, unaware of the man watching her. Yoonja couldn't explain why, but he found himself looking for her the next day. Then the next. Soon, he noticed everything. The way she smiled, tucked her hair behind her ear, and reacted when she was excited. He began secretly photographing her from a distance. His curiosity slowly became an obsession. Wanting to get closer without revealing who he was, Yoonja enrolled as an ordinary student. But there was one problem. Yuna was always with a boy from her class, Taejin. At first, Yoonja told himself they were only friends, But every time he saw Yuna laugh with Taejin, jealousy burned inside him. Still, he waited. Then Valentine's Day came. For the first time, Yoonja decided to approach her. He bought flowers, a small gift, and rehearsed what he would say. But when he reached the garden, he stopped. Taejin was already there, holding flowers and proposing to Yuna. Yoonja watched silently from a distance. The smile disappeared from his face. For the first time in his life, his eyes filled with tears. As he watched the woman he had secretly admired choose another man, he finally understood. This wasn't curiosity. It wasn't fascination. He loved her. Yoonja looked down at the flowers in his hand, then back at Yuna. A painful smile touched his lips. I really love you. A few days passed, but Yoonji still couldn't stop watching Yuna. He quietly learned about her family, habits, favorite places, and daily routine, while secretly filling his camera with photographs of her. She had become the center of his world, the reason he looked forward to each day. Sometimes their paths crossed. Yuna barely noticed him, but Taejin did. He noticed how Yoonji's eyes followed her, and how he always seemed to be nearby. He said nothing, but someone else noticed too, Yoonji's cousin. He had always been jealous of Yoonji's growing success. Even at a young age, Yoonji had earned his father's trust, managed the college, and begun handling parts of the family business. Now, he had discovered Yoonji's weakness, Yuna. For the first time, his cousin realized that the powerful and controlled Yoonji finally had something to lose. And Yoonji didn't know it yet. His love for Yuna had just given his enemies the perfect weapon. It was almost the end of college. 3 to 4 years had passed, and Yuna and Taejin had become inseparable. Yoonji had remained in the background, watching her from afar, unable to find a place in her world. Now, graduation was approaching, but the excitement had turned into uncertainty. Taejin, from a middle-class family, still hadn't found a job despite his parents' sacrifices. Yuna was worried too, as they often talked about building a stable future together. One evening, while Taejin was walking home after meeting Yuna, his phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the unfamiliar number before answering.
Hello? Is this Taejin? Yes, who is this?
I have an opportunity for you.
What kind of opportunity?
A chance to build your career. A good position with the possibility of settling abroad.
Taejin stopped walking. His expression changed.
Abroad?
Yes. If you're interested, come and meet me at my office. We can discuss everything there.
He gave Taejin an address. Taejin quickly saved it.
But why me?
You'll understand when we meet.
The call ended. Taejin stared at his phone for a long moment. He had no idea who had arranged the offer, or why someone would suddenly want to help him. But the promise of a stable job abroad was difficult to ignore. He thought about his parents, their sacrifices, and the future he wanted with Yuna. Finally, he looked at the address again.
I'll go.
He decided to hear the man out. The next morning, Taejin arrived at the given address. The building was far more impressive than he had expected. At the reception, he gave his name.
Mr. Taejin, the CEO is expecting you. Please go in.
He entered the office and immediately recognized the man behind the desk. Min-jun. He knew him from college, one of the people involved in the college management, though they had never spoken personally. Min-jun gestured toward the chair.
Sit.
Once Taejin sat down, Minjun got straight to the point.
You want to build your career abroad, correct?
Yes.
I can arrange that. A good position, with the possibility of settling there.
Taejin's eyes widened. But then Minjun added,
I need something from you in return.
Taejin's expression became cautious.
What do you want?
One phone call.
To whom?
Minjun gave him a location.
You will call Yuna from there. I'll tell you exactly what to say.
Taejin immediately frowned.
Why Yuna? Are you planning to hurt her?
No, I only want to threaten her.
Taejin stared at him.
But why her?
Minjun leaned back, his expression turning colder.
Because of my brother. He's becoming obsessed with her. I want to warn her and her family to stay away before my brother gets to her.
Taejin immediately thought of Yoonjae. He had seen the way Yoonjae watched Yuna for years.
And you're sure she won't be harmed?
One warning, nothing more.
Taejin fell silent. He knew it wasn't right to threaten Yuna. But Minjun wasn't asking him to hurt her. And this job could change everything. His career, his family's future, and his life with Yuna. After a long hesitation, he finally nodded.
Fine, I'll do it.
A faint smile appeared on Minjun's face. Taejin didn't realize it yet, but the moment he accepted the deal, he had already stepped into a trap. Taejin called Yuna that evening.
Yuna, can you meet me tomorrow?
She immediately became curious.
Where?
He gave her the location Minjun had provided. Then, after a brief hesitation, he added,
Bring your parents too. I want to talk about our future.
Yuna's face lit up. She had no idea what Taejin was planning, but the thought of meeting him with her parents made her heart race. For the first time in days, she felt excited about the future. The next evening, Yuna got ready and left with her parents for the cafe, excited to finally meet Taejin and discuss their future. At the same time, Taejin left home, nervous but hopeful that his life was finally about to change. Neither of them knew that everything was about to go terribly wrong. As Yuna's family's car approached a turn in the road, another vehicle suddenly appeared, a luxury car. It came from the opposite direction at terrifying speed. The next second, crash! The impact was horrific. Metal twisted, glass shattered across the road. The family car spun violently before coming to a stop. People nearby rushed toward the scene. Everything happened within seconds. And somewhere across the city, Taejin was sitting inside the cafe, waiting. He checked his phone. Nothing. He called Yuna. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. His concern slowly turned into panic.
Why isn't she answering?
He called again and again. Nothing. Hours later, news of the accident reached Yoonji. The moment he heard Yuna's name, his entire expression changed.
What hospital?
His voice was dangerously calm. His men gave him the location. He immediately left. Within minutes, Yoonji arrived at the hospital. His eyes scanned the emergency ward frantically.
Where is she?
His men immediately began giving him updates. Yoonji's jaw tightened. The fear inside him quickly turned into something darker. His men understood immediately. Yuna had survived, but she was seriously injured. Her parents had died in the accident. For a moment, Yoonji stood completely still. His eyes turned cold. Then his men approached him with another piece of information. They had discovered the entire plan. Minjun had arranged the meeting. He had used Taejin to get Yuna to that location. Yoonji's jaw tightened. His anger was no longer something he could hide.
Find Taejin.
His men immediately moved. Yoonji looked toward the emergency ward where Yuna was being treated. Then he lowered his voice, his eyes filled with fury.
What you wanted to do with her, now you'll have to face me, Minjun, Taejin.
He stared toward the hospital room.
I'll make sure you both regret ever touching her life.
Taejin was still at the cafe, repeatedly calling Yuna, when several men suddenly appeared. Before he could understand what was happening, they surrounded him.
Who are you?
One of them grabbed him.
Wait, what are you doing?
He struggled, but they didn't answer. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor. The screen still showed Yuna's name. The call was unanswered. Within moments, Taejin was taken away, and while he was being dragged into the waiting vehicle, he had only one thought running through his mind. What happened to Yuna? He had no idea that the accident was only the beginning. And he certainly didn't know that Yoon-jae had just learned about the meeting that was supposed to happen that evening. Back in the present, Yoon-ji sat quietly on the sofa, a glass of whiskey resting in his hand. His thoughts were still trapped in the past. Then he noticed movement from the bed. Yuna shifted slightly in her sleep. His attention immediately turned toward her. He placed the glass aside and walked to the bed. For a moment, he simply watched her sleeping peacefully. Then he gently brushed his fingers across her cheek. His expression softened.
You will never know, baby girl. Let these memories be buried with me. I want to see you like this. Peaceful, safe, in my arms. Inside my golden cage, where no one can ever touch you. It was my fault back in college. I should have talked to you. I should have told you how I felt. But I didn't. And now, you're mine to protect. You can hate me when you remember everything. You can blame me for every secret I've buried. I already lost you once. I let you go into someone else's arms because I thought that was what would make you happy. But no one in this world can keep you safe the way I can. No one can protect you like me.
He looked at her for a long moment.
So this time, baby girl, I'm not letting you go.
And maybe some truths are better left buried. Some memories are too painful to remember. And some secrets are kept not because they are forgotten, but because knowing them could destroy everything. Yoon Ji-an knows what really happened. He knows the truth about Yuna's past, the truth about her parents, Taejin, and the memories she lost. But the question remains, will Yuna ever remember what happened to her? If you enjoyed this twisted story, subscribe for more dark and thrilling stories, because my next story begins on a rainy night. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.